Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CaneSport.com post-game show. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com. Going to be joined by Bruce Warner, who's like me, trying to have a little bite to eat here in all the craziness. And our special guest tonight is Mr. Stephen McGuire, who is going to give us the perspective of a former player and try to make some sense to some of the things that we saw at Hard Rock Stadium today. Oh, my God, man. Talk about 3 days just from the devil, man. I mean, 3 weeks rather from the devil. I mean, the way Miami continues to lose these games. But so much for us to cover tonight. I hope many of you will call in and chime in. The call-in number is 563-999-3550, 563-999-3550. You hit the 1 on your keypad if you'd like to come on the show. That puts you in the queue. We'll bring you in the order. We'll bring you on the show in the order that you land in the queue. So go ahead and get your calls in there now and line up the queue, and we'll get to you guys in a minute. 563-999-3550. Hit 1 on your keypad if you want to come on the show. Bruce, Stephen, so much for us to cover here. I mean, we probably could sit here till 3 a.m. if we wanted to, but we won't.
I could actually walk to Stephen's house from Florida and we'll still be talking about it.
But man, it's hard to watch. It really is. And you're sitting there seeing so many things during the course of the game. I'll throw a few in there right now, and then I'm going to let you guys take the floor. I mean, deep passes. Okay. They gave 4 against Middle Tennessee last week. And obviously spent 2 weeks working on that. And then boom, in the first half tonight, they give up 2 more. And it looked to me, like mental errors on the part of Cam Kinchins, quite frankly, who's their best defensive back. He was biting on the routes across the middle and leaving the deep pass open. And those were obviously 2 very, very, very critical plays in the game. I mean, so much happened, things can tend to get lost. But if I'm pointing to why Miami lost tonight, I'm starting with those 2 plays. Red zone problems, which has been an issue the entire season. They can't score in the red zone. Decisions.
4th down decisions,
Down decisions, Stephen, yes. When to go for it, when not to go for it.
Analytics, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I hate analytics. We'll talk about that. It sounds like you might hate them as much as me. But, I feel for Mario. Okay, the fans are ripping him for not being more aggressive. Some members of the media were ripping him for not being more aggressive. And he comes into this game tonight and had several decisions in that regard that he had to make. And he chose to be aggressive, probably too aggressive in the case of that situation in the second half, where North Carolina ended up getting the ball at midfield, kicking a field goal to go up by 7, Stephen, which totally changed the game. We'll talk about that.
That was a turning point. Yep,
no doubt. How about burning a timeout needlessly in the third quarter when they should have just been shooting anyway? They blow a timeout. It cost them 40 seconds late in the game when they're trying to drive for a field goal to tie the game or a touchdown to win the game. They lost 40 seconds because they took a timeout needlessly. What am I leaving out? I'm probably leaving a ton out. I'm just trying to hit on the key things.
You're not.
So let's start there. Stephen, I see you're chomping at the bit, so we're going to tell Bruce to wait, and we're going to start with you. Your overall thoughts on the game.
I know Stephen wanted the ball when they were inside the 2. He wanted the ball. Even at his age, give me the damn ball.
4th and goal, you have one receiver out in the route. I don't understand that. I don't, you have, and you're looking for Will Mallory, which everybody knows he was going to get the ball, and they keyed on him, so that play was dead. But you have one receiver out. I say take the points. You go up, but it was you get 3 points. But, and then the defensive back, like you said, early in the game, 76 yards, bomb, Our defensive backs has to get better. It's just, I don't know, but at least they competed today. They competed. You know, everybody. I say to myself that Miami fans are spoiled, and they want the ACC championship. They want the national championship. Like when Coach Erickson and Coach Coker came in, 1 year coaches come in, win the national championship. That's not happening anymore. You know, Miami fans have to realize that, you know, this right here is going to be a progress. This right here is going to be, Miami has to get his players, his system, got to get these kids back to winning at home first. We have to control home first, and then winning will, on the road, will take care of itself. You know, it's just, I don't know, you know, they have talent. At least we found two receivers. I think number 88 and number 12 has to be in the game now. You know, those guys competed, you know. Number 12, I seen him. He was doing amazing things today, you know.
I'm having a big problem with use of personnel. I want to talk about that as well. I mean, trying to play way too many guys, in my opinion, especially on defense. And I think it's biting them a little bit. You know, they don't have their best players on the field all the time when they need them. But Bruce, we're going to come to you here in 1 second. I just want to point out that the CaneSport.com postgame show is presented by Caneswear, which still would love to have the Canes fan pop by, buy some great Canes merchandise. They have tons of it there. Nobody buys more than Brett. I mean, Brett keeps the licensees of the University of Miami in business. This is a guy that believes in inventory. He's got tons of stuff coming into that store all the time, and that's not going to change just because the team's 2-3 right now. So we'll be talking about Caneswear some as we go forward in the night. Very happy to have them as a sponsor this year of the CaneSport.com post-game show, and urge everybody to continue to support
definitely
through these tough times. All right, Bruce, your turn. Your general thoughts on what you saw in the game today.
We talked about the effort during the week. The effort was there. Is the talent there? No, it's not. It's not. You know, and Stephen will know this because he's practiced against these guys, but there's no D tackles. I've been saying it for months.
Exactly. Yep.
There's 9 or 10 defensive ends, and there's not any true D tackles, and they ran it right down our throats. And then a couple of times we got a sack, we got pressure from the middle, but most of the time it's the ends. Quarterback stepped up, and a defensive lineman just happened to be there to make the tackle. But they're not getting any push up front. They can't stop the run.
Yeah.
And you talk about the DBs getting burned. Well, that's a good reason because they're not getting pressure on his quarterback. He stood there like, whoop, whoop. Now they got to him in the second half.
Second half, yes, they did.
But why aren't they doing that in the first half? They're not.
Yeah.
So that's part of my problem. The offensive line today, no, they got banged up, and there weren't that
two guys went down. You know, the two guys went down, so you know.
They weren't so good before they went down.
That's true.
The offensive line I thought was getting better, but you know what?
Yes.
I just don't think these are Mario's guys. They're just not.
Exactly.
There are a bunch of guys that are just there. Zion Nelson isn't playing. That doesn't help at all. And I thought Tyreek Stevenson was horrible today.
He's hurt. He's playing hurt. I'll tell you that.
They don't play.
Well, they don't have anybody else, and he's trying to get out and give them a half. He's only made it to halftime the last 2 games. I mean, you know, he is trying to help the team the best he can, but those 2 deep balls weren't his fault. He was the first one. He clearly was looking for the safety he released the receiver to the safety, and the safety wasn't there. Like
exactly.
So I'm pretty sure that was the safety making a bust.
Wow.
And then the second one, the safety left the middle of the field, and you're asking Tyreek, you know, on one leg, trying to cover a guy on a deep post, expecting help down the middle of the field, and safety wasn't there. So I don't blame Tyreek for those at all. I mean,
but overall, Gary, though, this team doesn't have the talent to win games like this. They could have and should have beaten A&M. They could have won today, but they just don't have the overall talent.
They don't know how to win.
I'll agree and disagree.
They don't know how to win the big games, man. You know,
they
don't know how to win.
Like They have been so close. I mean, the Middle Tennessee game was a total joke.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're not even going to talk about that one.
Exactly.
But they were so close at Texas A&M.
Texas
They were
A&M.
so close today, right, Stephen?
Was a winnable game. Yes.
So that means they have the talent. They do have the talent. What they don't have, in my opinion, Bruce, is a margin of error. They can't make all the mistakes. They can't keep having missed field goals. You know, God bless poor Gallup. I know he made 2 of them, but he has the leg to make that 52-yarder early in the game, and he pulled it a little bit and missed it. You know, they just can't leave those points on the field. They can't break down.
Can't fumble the ball on 4th and 1. You know, that was major.
How about Jalen Knighton at the 17-yard line? They're driving in for the touchdown, and he fumbled yet again. I mean, he fumbled last week, and he's the same guy that missed the cut in the Texas A&M game. They had a wall of blockers lined up for him. That would have been a touchdown. Jalen Knighton is having a horrific season to this point. They don't have enough talent to withstand that. So they have enough talent, but they don't have enough talent to withstand all of the mistakes they're making, the substandard play they're getting from some guys. I mean, would you have known Leonard Taylor, who's supposed to be their best defensive tackle? Would you have known he played today?
No.
Not really.
I mean, they don't have enough talent to withstand that. You know,
I the talent part, but you know what? I'm looking at this, and maybe Stephen will answer this. No screens. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
No screens.
No running back screens.
Check down guy to go to that 21 or they were opening the flat all day, and they don't go to that. And I haven't seen one toss sweep or one run to the outside. Everything's between the tackles, so they know what you're going to do. They stack that box.
Use the speed that they have. Supposedly that they have.
Supposedly have speed. Yeah.
Supposedly.
You know, they've had Bashard Smith on a flanker around twice this year. They should have done that, faked the handoff, and thrown deep because they were waiting for him to get the ball. And
what happened to the Rooster today? Is he hurt? Yeah, he's hurt.
He played, but I mean, he drops a pass. Yep. He caught one on the sideline, but you know, he had maybe 4 or 5 opportunities to impact the game, and it succeeded on one of them when he caught that pass. You know, he fumbles yet again at the 17-yard line. That can't happen, man. I mean, you can't they can't withstand all these things. The decisions that blow up, the problems in the red zone, the giving up the deep passes, fumbling inside the 20 when you're driving to tie the game. I mean, on and on and on. So much frustration for the Canes fan to reconcile. I see all your comments popping into the comments. We're going to get to those. The phone lines are starting to light up, so we're going to go to your calls right now. 563-999-3550. 563-999-3550. Hit the 1 on your keypad if you want to come on the show. And let's go right now out to the 845 where you are on the CaneSport.com post-game show. 845, you with us?
No.
Oh, there you are. Hey, what's up, Greg? Speak up for us, will you? Yeah, I hear you.
I can't hear him.
Wait, you're not hearing Greg?
Nope. Are you hearing him, Stephen?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out there. Apparently, there might be an audio issue, so I'm just trying to see. Yeah, 1 second, Greg, if you can hear me. Give me 1 second here. I'm just trying to troubleshoot what might be an issue, but Bruce, you're not hearing Greg?
No,
because I'm hearing him.
Not at all. Put that cigar down.
Yes.
No smoking on the air.
It was supposed to be a victory cigar, but hey, what the hell, man? You know.
Hey, hey, can you guys hear Greg now?
I can't.
Greg. Greg, you there? Did he? Greg, did you give up? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Greg, I don't know. I mean, let me try somebody else and see if it's on your end. Let's try the 985. You're on the CaneSport.com post-game show. Yeah, we can hear you.
Not me.
Not me.
Turn off your. You guys can't hear him.
No.
No.
All right. All right. Good. All right. All right. I don't know what I'm trying to figure out what the problem is. But in the meantime, do me a favor. Can you turn your background sound off so we can hear you without the background sound? All right. Now I can hear you good. Go ahead.
Not me.
You're not hearing me?
I hear you, but nobody else.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to put you guys on hold and try to figure out what the problem is here. All right. Just hang in there for a moment.
Man, look at all these comments. This guy summed it up. We suck.
I'm going to try to figure out what the problem is there.
We competed today, you know.
Yeah,
we didn't get blown out.
We could have won. Other game, we could have won.
Yeah. We could have won.
Could have won.
All right, well, let's go to the comments here for a minute, and I'll keep trying to figure out what that audio problem is. Ohio Hurricane says, I'm still not impressed with this new regime. This feels like Manny Diaz never left. Only 24 points against one of the worst defenses in the nation. Mistake after mistake, so undisciplined. Steven, start with you. Do the coaches get blamed for this?
I say somewhat, you know, certain things like 4th and goal on the goal line. You got to get the points. And then coming out, he threw back-to-back picks. And we on the 4th and goal, I mean, on midfield or wherever he was at, and they go for it instead of putting them and changing field positions and keeping them down after he just threw back-to-back picks. That was a big turnover because after that, they got the 3 points and, you know, game could have been tied. But, you know, some of it falls on the coaches.
Last week, people were screaming that they didn't go for it. Now they're screaming that he did go for it. So you can't win. Everybody, Monday morning quarterback. But all these comments, I get it. But
we need points, man. We need points, man. You know, I mean, sometimes, you know, they follow analytics crap. Just go, you know, old school football. You know, 4th and goal. All right, we didn't get it. Let's kick the field goal. You know, 3 points.
Yep.
You know, that's what I say. You know, I don't know. You know,
the offensive line wasn't pushing anybody.
No, exactly.
Not at all. They had 42 yards of total on the ground.
Yeah.
42 yards on 21 carries or something like that. Van Dyke threw for 496. He was 42 for 57. So it was a one-man show. But he had no help from the line. So that guy, Eddie Mack, was right. He said the line is going to tell us who wins. And, you know, they had no points until late in the 4th quarter. The whole 3rd quarter had 0. They had the momentum. They got 0.
Yep. 2 turnovers. So did we get any points off those turnovers?
Did what?
Did we get any points off the turnovers?
You know, I'd be going on memory on that.
We scored the field goal at the end of the half. Wasn't that off?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay,
yeah.
So we got 3 from that.
3. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. You know,
I'm going to pull my play-by-play up so I can answer those questions.
Remember, Gary, when I said at the first week of Lamar's show, I don't trust the defense because they've never played together. They got a bunch of new guys that never played with each other. And you guys had guys, Steven, that played for years together.
Exactly.
So if you took somebody out and put Caesar in, you know he was going to get up in somebody's face, make tackles, pressure the quarterback. You know, it didn't matter who you had out there because you had guys and the system was built around. But these guys, to me, all the names mean nothing to me. They're just a bunch of blown up defensive ends playing D tackle, but they're not stuffing the run. They're just not.
Nope.
They're not. So they're out on the field, and I know they're trying, but this is not the kind of team that Mario wants. We're undersized. We are undersized. We look like children still.
And you know what? I was watching the Alabama game, and those guys look like monsters compared to our guys. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys got to get in the weight room or we got to get bigger guys. I don't know. You know,
look at Florida State; they're playing really well this year.
They are.
They're playing. Well, he's turned that thing around. You know,
You need to get some guys like Mark Caesar back in there to go in there and look. Remember what Mark? This was Mark Caesar used to do. He used to take the true freshman, slap him in his face, and see if that guy would fight back. If that guy didn't fight back on the offensive line, Mark would say he's soft. You know.
Well,
that's a true.
Probably beat everybody in the team.
All right, let me see if I can if I fix this phone line issue. All right, 985. Can you hear us? Turn your background.
I hear noise.
Yeah, I can, but I need you to turn the background sound on. I'll just have to. Okay, I'll see if Bruce and them can hear you, but if not, I'll relay what you're saying. Okay, go ahead. What you got for us? Go ahead. I can hear you. Go ahead. What do you got?
Nothing.
Yeah, I don't hear nothing.
No, you're doing fine. Go ahead. Go ahead. You were doing fine. Talk. Yeah, go ahead. Talk. You're doing fine.
Stephen, while he's talking, let's shoot some pool.
you see my look.
I know. Aren't you glad I invited you?
Yeah.
Well, I am hearing you. I'm trying to figure out if everybody else is hearing you besides Bruce and Steven, but
no, I'm not.
I know you're not. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. All right, for some reason, I don't know what's up, but I apologize, but I'll keep trying to figure it out. But we're gonna have to just post your questions on the comments on YouTube, and we'll go from there, and I'll see if I can figure out this problem while we're doing the show. But I'm not going to be able to have you on right now, and I apologize. Yeah, not sure why that's not working. But anyway, guys, so let's get back to we'll have everybody post their comments in the comments on YouTube, and we'll continue to address them.
Didn't you say you got some new equipment that'll fix that? Isn't that what you told me before?
I'm hearing it fine. I don't understand why it's not going out onto the broadcast.
I always hear these people when they call in on the other stuff.
Yeah, it's always worked in the past. I don't know. There's something up, but there's just something not working right now. So Juice Cane Tony says we will be fine. Everyone's expecting new results from lesser talent, just like the last 15 years. Let's get some guys in the hole. It's going to take a couple of years. We have Manny's players, man. Okay, Juice Cane Tony. I mean, he's right.
Yeah,
it's going to take a few years. I mean, this is not going to be an overnight fix, but we are seeing a lot of the same things. And this is a new coaching staff that has tried to fix all of these things. Mm-hmm. And some things they're succeeding on, some things they're not.
Not coming out of the gate fast, that's for sure. 17 weeks ago, 14-0 today. What else is new? You know, it's just the same patterns.
So, Steven, your thoughts on that? Again, Juice Cane Tony is taking the contrary point of view and saying everything's going to be fine. Relax. It's going to take a few years.
It might take more. It might take more than a few years. Look how Dabo Swinney built Clemson up. It took him a long time to get all his players and get people to buy into his program and see how he built his program up. The same thing with Alabama. It's going to take time. I know Miami fans. And I love Miami fans to death. We're spoiled. And we want instant success, automatic. With the talent we have in high school, down there. You know, let's get these guys down there, get them back down to Miami. Let's not let them leave to go to Texas or Alabama. Get them here, and let's start building on it. Let's start working on it. It's they have the facilities now. They have everything else to compete with everybody else, with the Alabamas, somewhat with the Alabamas and the LSUs and the Texas A&Ms. So, there's no excuses no more. It's just going to take Mario some time so that he could get his players in and the players that he wants, and so that these kids could start believing that, they can compete with the other guys like the Clemson, the Alabamas, and the Georgias,
Right. Ohio State.
Ohio State, yeah,
There's a lot of our players down here.
Yeah, that whole Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson been running the table since what?
Last 10 years, maybe 12 years.
Exactly, yeah, and why is that? Why can't they come? Why can't we do it? This is Miami, baby. Come on. This is Miami.
It was Miami. Now, not in the last 20 years. These kids don't know from you guys. They just don't.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? That's never going to be like that again. People say that, they should let the old players back on the sideline. I don't think that'll help. And, most of those guys don't even know us because, I'm 50 years old and those cats, but that's hearsay. But, I was watching that Texas game today and it seemed like Texas had everybody on the sideline. Former players and everything. I don't know if they had, but they had everybody on the sideline. I mean, I'm just saying. So I don't know if the NCAA has something in for us where they're actually watching Miami. We're Miami, so we have to be so quote unquote do everything by the book. Otherwise, they're gonna come after us.
Yep.
Well, so
I know Mario knows that, but
yeah, exactly.
I just think look, he's got a bunch of recruits. I wanted to ask Gary this: why did it fall off? What happened, Gary? They were on a fire, May, June, July, then it just completely stopped. What happened? We were on such a roll. The season hadn't started. We didn't lose any games.
I think the kids that were going to committed. Right. And I think the ones that are, being courted and want to be courted and are considering multiple schools are in the process of doing that. And they don't have to make a decision until December. And now, of course, struggling out of the gate here to start the season puts the whole thing in a state of flux and jeopardy. And, they went all in, Bruce, on recruiting today. I mean, they had a star-studded cast out there for this game. I mean, one after
big game, man. Yeah,
we didn't get blown out. So, do you think that
exactly?
Do you think it really killed us, or we're okay?
No, I don't know yet. Like we have to see. I hope not. I mean, I think those kids should see that they have an opportunity. That it's not
to play. They come in and play. That's what I'm saying.
100%.
If I'm a recruit and they bringing me down, I'm like, I got an opportunity to play maybe 2 or 3 years in Miami and build this program back. That's what they got to sell it on. Look, you could come here and build this program back, to the way it was. It's because it's going to take some time, but we need you here.
Well, at least on CaneSport, I haven't seen any we want Jake Garcia's. There's no reason.
Well, I mean, I tried to tell everybody. I mean, they didn't lose because of Tyler Van Dyke today.
No, not today. No.
I mean, he did everything he could. He had 500 yards passing. He was under pressure a lot. They were blitzing him like crazy. He hung tough. That touchdown pass to Parrish, I thought was incredible. The way
that was a good, that was an incredible pass. Yes.
Had the guy hanging on him and was able to deliver it. So they didn't lose because of Tyler Van Dyke today. He was pretty close to being Tyler Van Dimes again. And I mean, some of his receivers are starting to step up, but I did notice some adjustments that he made. Everything wasn't a 99 mile an hour fastball. Yep. I mean, he was managing the velocity of his throws better than he has at any time this season. I thought that was huge to his success.
And following through. One pass off his back foot that I saw. That's about it.
Yeah.
But you know what?
He's still throwing up his back foot, though. He's still throwing up his back foot. Yes.
We have 2 injuries that really killed us. Restrepo.
Yeah.
Trevante Citizen, because you wouldn't have had all this crap with the guys in the backfield. If he was healthy, he could run, he could block, he could catch. He's a big kid, but he's not going to. So we don't get to see him.
A lot of critical penalties, but can't it's can't make excuses.
I'm not making excuses. I'm
next man up.
Next man up. Absolutely, and they do have a lot of guys that are being the next man up, but they just can't withstand the things they're being asked to withstand. Right. 4 long touchdown passes against Middle Tennessee, 2 today, 2 long passes. Both, one was a touchdown, the other one led to a touchdown. I mean, they're not good enough to survive that kind of stuff.
They're going to struggle every week. I was shocked that you said that, but you're probably right. Virginia Tech next week.
Virginia Tech next week, yeah.
They could struggle. They
don't have Virginia Tech, then we got Duke.
To say, here we are. That's your time, but not anymore.
Yeah, Gary Eden says that missed field goal, fumble in the red zone. This is not on the coaching staff. Mistakes cost Miami this game. Steven, you were a player. I'm going to give you the floor on this one, and I'm going to take a few seconds off screen to see if I can figure out why the calls aren't working. But, when do players get blame, and when do coaches get blame?
Well, they're still kids, and kids make mistakes. Professional players fumble the ball. You just have to overcome that stuff. And a player gonna fumble. You try not to. A player doesn't want to fumble, but in certain situations like that, you try to hold on to the ball and you try to make amends for it and try to come out and do better. And coaches are going to get the blame because they're the coaches, and certain situations like today, I think we should have punted and got the points, get a couple of field goals here and there, change field goal position, and maybe the outcome would have been a little bit different, saving that one timeout that we took the timeout on a 4th down. I forgot we did. We took the timeout and did we go for it? And then we didn't make it or something like that, right?
I don't remember.
On one timeout, I believe. When you could have
he got sacked.
Sacked. Exactly. Yeah,
he
exactly.
Got sacked.
Yeah, he got sacked. So.
That's where I'm saying there's got to be a safety valve. You've got to be able to dump it to a back in the flat. They don't do that.
Yeah.
You got a few. Leonard got a lot when he played. Leonard got 1 million of those.
Yeah, and it's the kids gonna make mistakes. You just try to limit your mistakes and get better. Hopefully, what's his name, Knighton, learn from that. It's 4th and 1. You run through there with 2 hands on the ball. Get he had the first down, so just get your first down and go to the ground and. He probably was trying to make a play, and it backfired on him. Unfortunately for the young man, that was the big.
He has a history of fumbling, and when you're 4th and 2 or 1 like that, maybe he should.
Yeah, 4th and 2, you got to hold on to that ball, man. It's just, it's 4th down. We're going in, we're driving.
I can't hear you now, Gary. I can't hear him.
Yeah, me neither.
That's okay. Me and you run the show anyway. So here's if you don't really know him like I do, he's one of the nicest.
I accidentally muted myself. That's all.
Oh, you can now, right? Go back to that. Sounded good.
I'm just trying to figure out what that other
problem. And I were talking about how we can get rid of you.
But I think it's for the fan, the guys that are listening to the show. Everyone is looking for somebody to blame. During the off week, Tyler Van Dyke was everybody's, whipping boy. Josh Gaddis was everybody's whipping boy, and they were getting beaten to a pulp. Somebody always wants to blame somebody, but I'm not sure that that's so easy right now, Stephen. I think this is a group effort. I think sometimes the players are failing, and I think sometimes the coaches are struggling a little bit themselves, and why I can't explain, but I do think that when it comes to Mario, he can't stop worrying about what anybody is saying, I would say, because you're not making everybody happy. And, if somebody's choosing to criticize you and say you're too conservative, don't let that impact the decisions that you make in the game, because that one was very costly today, where they were set up at midfield to get 20 yards and kick a field goal to put them up by 7 instead of 4. I mean, it's the middle of the third quarter. You're right in that ball game.
Exactly.
You're at midfield punt. You got one of the best punters in the country. He had 2 other situations today where he pinned them deep. Your defense was starting to play a little bit better in the second half, which is another problem, Stephen, that I'll point out. Where was the effort early in the game? I mean, there was a noticeable uptick in the effort being expended by the guys on the defensive line in the second half. They were getting after the quarterback. There was pressure on the quarterback. They were making plays, and it was disrupting North Carolina's offense that didn't have a great amount of success in the second half. One long drive, right?
Exactly.
They had 2 field goals in the second half.
But that's a big problem. Why is the effort of players, wavering during the course of a game? We saw it against Middle Tennessee also. I mean, Jake Garcia came in, completed a couple of passes, and now all of a sudden the guys on defense were playing hard again for a few minutes. That's unacceptable. I understand shots in the arm, sparks, blah, 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 all the cliches in football, but that's unacceptable. The effort level should never waver during the course of a game. You shouldn't have to get down the way they were down today to start playing harder.
Exactly. So that's the key too, Gary. They got to figure out, how do we get these players to come out from the gate? Soon as we kick off the ball, let's go. It's like what they did on 30-30 when Robert Billy set the tempo when he went down on kickoff team and knocked that dude out. That was it. Game was over.
Oh, you guys were mad even before that. So
exactly. You know what I'm saying?
When I saw you at the 50-yard line going like this,
I
was in trouble. Well, let's go. Let's talk about the talent difference. Forgetting the names. Look how much talent you had on your team. You guys were loaded. You had Russell. You had Dewey. You had Dewey was on the bench. You had Deal. You look at the linebackers you had. My goodness, your team was loaded. 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 There's not one player on this defense that the offensive coordinator has to say, "Oh my God, we better stop this guy."
That's true. That's true. That we got to double team this guy. We got to stop. We got to stop the defensive tackle. We got to stop the defensive end. There's no concerns no more.
Right. There's nothing. There's nobody to game plan for.
Yeah, and that's years of recruiting. That's years of recruiting. That's years. To recruit elite players, you got to be able to evaluate elite players.
And the way we're going now, we might not have an elite receiver coming in either. Right? They've been whiffing all these kids.
Well, Brian Clemson, we finally got wide receiver play. Colby Young fought for the ball, looked the part.
Yes.
Now we just need to start and build chemistry. Here's my next question, and I'll start with you again, Stephen. So we saw Colby Young in the second half make 3 consecutive really big plays, and the touchdown and the throw was perfect, and the play he made on the route he ran and the whole thing. It was poetry. It was unbelievable. Where has Colby Young been this season? I mean, this is week 5, okay? He clearly is capable of playing at a level that we have not seen from, at least consistently, from the other guys on the field. We haven't seen it from Latson. We haven't seen it, Redding drops the ball for every one he catches. He made 1 or 2 good plays today. He's doing better. But better is not good enough. You need consistency and week after week after week. Colby Young looked like an all-conference receiver today when he had those 3 opportunities.
How did the coaches not know that? What
Look at Will Mallory.
He was a bum for a month.
Mallory dropped the 3rd and 2. Was it third down? Yeah. He dropped that pass. Come on, you got to make that. And you know what? That's in practice, man. We used to like if you're going to drop a pass in practice like that on a critical down, you're going to do it in the game, no matter what. So I don't think got the players that's still competing like how we used to compete, and there was no nonsense where if you drop that pass because somebody's behind you, it's going to take your spot.
Yeah.
We had Coleman Bell. He was a great tight end. And he was right there battling. And practice is everything. I don't know how they practice down there now, but I know that when we practiced, it was competitive. I know with the concussion protocol that guys can't be out there hitting like how we used to hit during 2 days, and during practice we used to have live contact. But now, so things are totally different now. I guess they're more lax with certain things, I guess, letting players get away with certain things. But I guarantee you that what they do during the game, they did it in practice. And that was unacceptable back then. I guarantee you, because Coach Johnson and Coach Jefferson would not tolerate that.
Yeah. Well, Mallory's hit and miss, I think, Gary.
Exactly. He is hit and miss.
Big plays. He's hit or miss.
Yeah,
he played pretty well for the most part today. I mean, he had I think like 7 catches in the game. I'd have to double check the stats, but he did play pretty well and made a lot of good plays. But yeah, he dropped that one.
He dropped that one.
That was critical.
That was critical.
That was I thought he started run with it before he caught it. But
exactly,
you got to catch that.
Caught 8 passes for 115 yards today.
Oh, yeah, good game.
So does he deserve the criticism for dropping that one? Absolutely, but
exactly,
he's not a guy that didn't do his part today for the most part. Rocky McMillan brings up just an exceptional issue, guys, and we'll throw it out there for discussion. Never seen a bigger mismatch of coaching philosophy and roster. Are the coaches trying to do things that they do not have the personnel to do? Steven.
You mean like power football? Is that what you're saying?
That could be an example. The offensive line is not performing. I mean, they had no running game today.
Not at all. There was no threat. There was no threat for them to even put 8 man up.
24 rushes, 42 yards, guys. 24 rushes,
I said before.
Guys. Yeah, there was no threats to put 8 man up on the defensive line to stop the run. So, that right there says it all, I think what the Kings have to do is, like, the one play, I don't know where they got that flea flicker from. Did the Kings try to do the flea flicker today?
Yeah,
they burned somebody a couple weeks ago with that.
Yeah, it worked, but you can't call it every week.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can't do that flea flicker. That's showing signs of weakness. That's showing, come on, just line up, go with your best plays. Maybe.
But Steven, I'll defend the call. If it works, everybody thinks it's brilliant because it's worked before this year. But somehow or other, and who was telling me? Oh, Kelvin told me. He said he watched the game 2 weeks ago, and our center, Ja'Kai Clark, was getting blown up.
Yeah, it was getting blown up. I told you that.
So you told me that too. So in that flea flicker, the center got blown up. So that's why.
Yeah.
We didn't have that.
But let me ask you a question. These guys are getting paid all this money as coaches. They watch film and they study this. They should know that the flea flicker is not going to work. Am I right?
It depends. If you have an offensive line that can hold the
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you certainly know that North Carolina is going to be prepared for it after they've shown it 2 games in a row. I mean,
y'all.
You could defend Gaddis, but I still have a problem with him. I'm not going to. I have a problem with him.
I mean, the evidence is mounting that he is certainly part of the problem. I mean, but I mean, they did throw for 500 today. I mean,
they did.
Wrong.
They threw for. But you know what? We couldn't run the ball. So hey, we couldn't run the ball. So hey,
Rocky says the TVD is a system quarterback, not what Mario and Gaddis are looking for. I don't agree with that. I mean,
the kid's good.
I think Mario Cristobal would tell you that TVD is what he likes, and he's been very complimentary of TVD, and he got a big performance from TVD today. TVD was struggling a little bit with the transition, losing Restrepo, got in his head a little bit, I think, but give the kid credit, man. Like he worked on those things in the last 2 weeks, and he was a whole different guy today. Much more composed. He controlling the velocity on his ball. I mean, I don't.
It's what kills us? The 3rd and 2s. It's the short yarders that's killing us, man. And
it has for years, Stephen. We haven't been able to push the ball in a long time.
What happened to the big?
When you were here, it was just give it to 30.
What's the big back now they got there? Parrish, right?
Franklin. Thad Franklin.
Franklin, I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, somebody actually noted that Franklin didn't play very much today.
Yeah.
He carries 8 yards.
What happened to him today?
8 yards, yeah. Why did he not play? Well, I think because Parrish and Knighton were back, and those are your top 2 backs. I mean, Franklin was the number 5 running back coming out of training camp. Parrish and Knighton are 1 and 2 right now. Parrish,
those 2 guys, 15 carries for 32 yards, Knighton and Parrish. So why not let the other kid play? He's a bruiser.
Yeah. I don't know. But
he put the ball on the floor on that 4th and 2.
They weren't blocking well enough, though, to really take advantage of a bruiser, in all fairness. I mean, but Jeff Lynn's ELO tour says that Corey Couch is even worse than DJ Ivy. Rather than have an argument about that, I would say the cornerback position in general has turned out to be maybe a little bit of a surprising issue. They go in the portal, they get Darryl Porter, they got Tyreek Stevenson coming back. They're not counting on Tyreek having a bad groin and, being, just not close to himself. He's trying to gut it out, but it's not going real well. Not all his fault. But, Corey Couch had a bad year last year, trying to bounce back this year. He's been okay at times. Certainly not getting consistency there. Dunson, who was good in spring practice, they haven't really put on the field very much because he doesn't have speed. And that's a recruiting breakdown. You're recruiting.
He came in as a safety, though, didn't he, Gary? He came in as a safety. So if he doesn't have speed, what the hell are they putting at corner?
I mean, he's never played safety here. I don't know.
That makes no sense.
He was brought in to play cornerback, and he did well in spring practice, but he struggles with speed. Just doesn't have the speed to play, so they don't feel comfortable putting him in.
Well, the 2 kids from Fort Myers have speed. Curtis and the other kid that came in this year.
Clearly, the coaches don't think they're ready yet. They're not even putting them. They're not putting them in the ground.
Hey, if my thing is this, if you got some kids out there that you don't think they're ready, but they have some speed, and give them. Coach Jefferson played us early. I got in. I was a freshman, redshirt freshman. Lamar played. Darren Smith played. Ryan McNeil. We all played some parts. Not a lot. Hit and miss here and there until we gained the coach's confidence, and then they were able to play us more. Sometimes what you got to put these kids in there.
Yeah.
Learn by fire. Let's go. Come on.
Well,
I know.
Didn't they put Malik Curtis in a couple of weeks ago? He got burned too.
Burned the minute they put him in.
They put him in, and he got
Harrison. He got burned.
Yep.
Like the coaches can't win, quite frankly. I mean, they're certainly not blameless, but they're trying to play young guys at times. They're getting burned by it. Like it just seems like everything they do
that they can't win
has a negative result. Yeah.
Where's the speed that Miami used to have? I don't understand that.
Yeah, what happened to all that?
What happened?
It's a very
Miami, man. Come on.
It's a slow.
We built. People came to us to figure out how to. What's that?
That's you as a freshman against Notre Dame.
That's what I'm saying.
You didn't play as a freshman. You went crazy that. What did you have? 189 yards?
Nah, I think I had like 80 something yards, like on 11 carries.
Never Sports Illustrated as a freshman.
Yeah.
Pretty good, Stephen.
That was pretty wild.
Hey, let's take a second here and let's hear from our friends at CaneSport.
Good.
Welcome to CaneSport. Family owned and operated since 2010. CaneSport has all the latest merchandise for the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Inter Miami Soccer, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of I-595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Yep. That's a great place, and they're just great people. Brett and all of them are just the nicest people.
Yes, they are.
They
I
are.
ordered my stuff from New York, and they mail it to me, and they give me my discount, which is fine. Excellent people there.
They
I
give
met
you a
Brett.
discount. They charge Mark double.
Yeah. Don't tell them that. Come on, man.
Man,
Can you imagine he was Mark Caesar's roommate?
Oh, yeah, for all my years there. Yeah.
Yeah, look, we're all buddies, all of us.
So T-Dog, he says James Williams is not a 5-star player. Number 24 is the best player on the entire team. In the meantime, number 24 gave up 2 deep passes today. So here's my question. I love turning them on. Here's the question, Stephen. When your best players are breaking down, what does the team do?
You know what? I have no idea what they do when their best players break down, because I never had to deal with that.
Right.
You know, at Miami, I don't know. You know, it's weird. You know, are they really supposed to be your best players, or on paper they're supposed to be your best players?
Yeah. Look,
you know,
week to week it changes. Last week Van Dyke was a bum.
Yeah. Now this week
transferring to SMU, and now he had 500 yards.
DJ Ivy was good today.
He was great today.
Nobody was catching too much on DJ Ivy.
Nope.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Jeff Lynn points out that the crowd was great today. There was nobody booing.
That's a positive.
He was in the stadium, because when I turned in, I looked on the TV, because it wasn't even a sellout, was it? Did they at least have 30,000 there?
No, I would say there was a good 50 there. I mean, it was it was a decent crowd.
Okay.
I mean, Kitchens makes good plays, and sometimes he just is in the wrong place at the wrong. Same with Williams. I look at like Williams as a safety, Stephen. Here's a kid in high school. He was so superior athletically, 6'5", 220 to all those kids. He must have freelanced, did whatever he wanted.
Exactly. Yeah.
He made 1 million tackles, but he couldn't. He's having a hard time because you can't freelance.
It's totally different, man. It's a different ball game. You know, some kids, they're able to do it. They're able to come in as a top 5-star, whatever they do here now, and able to compete. But some of them, like you said, he was able to do anything he want.
Yep.
You can't do that at this level now,
right.
Because you got the same kids, or they're better than you or faster than you, and so you got to listen to your coaches. So I don't know what they're doing out there. Maybe they're trying to do their own thing, and they panic. They don't trust the process of the coaches.
It's hard to get those bad habits out.
Exactly.
Something in high school, we'd run over there and whoops, and now they're burning him. Whereas before, it didn't work like that. He could see what was going to happen, and he chased after people. And now he's bad angles, missed tackles, in wrong place at the wrong time.
Because he's trying to do too much.
Yes,
he's trying to do too much. He's trying to make the big play all the time. Which hey, you gotta let your teammates do their job. Coach used to tell us, I was on offense, but I just hear the coaches on defense. You do your job, and everybody else do their job.
Yep.
You can't do 2 jobs at once.
Also, we talked about this repeatedly. You had leaders.
Yeah.
Is somebody on the defense going to talk back to Russell? No.
Exactly.
You guys had leaders. There's no leaders. Who's the leader on both sides of the?
You made a great point, though, Stephen. And guys trying to do too much. Where does that come from? Is that just like, I got to make a difference?
They want to make the big play, and they want to make the game-changing play. Sometimes you're going to get burned. Do your job. Why do you think so many teams came down to look at think about when Miami played Oklahoma. They were disciplined. Everybody had to be disciplined back then. Somebody had the fullback. Somebody had the quarterback. Every play, we had to stop that. That was the key. It was nothing special. I remember coaches used to come down and watch us and figure out how we stop Oklahoma and Nebraska. It was simple. Everybody just did their job. You know, it's not magical. It's nothing. You know, you do your job the best ability as you can. Otherwise, you're gonna find somebody else that can do it for you, and that's it.
But you guys had speed up front and the linebackers, where the teams, those two teams played against teams that were similar to them.
Yeah,
our D linemen got in those gaps. They got upfield. Yeah. They made a mess of that offensive line. They were not good enough. I don't know.
I don't know. Miami was defensive line university. I don't know what happened to the D line. These guys, I mean, it's there for them to build it back up, like how Jerome Brown, Cortez Kennedy, Russell Maryland, Mark Caesar, Warren Sapp, Damian Lewis. I don't know where those guys at. We got to get back to those guys. The Vince Wilforks, all those guys. We got to go out there and get at least a couple of those guys back to control that defensive line. That's the key.
It is the key, and they're not doing it.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're going to have. You know, who do we have this year coming in, Gary? I don't think Bain is going to be he's not a tackle. He may be a
no. Bain is not a tackle at all. No, you
got to get some big dudes in there.
He absolutely will be a defense. I do think he'll be in the class. I mean, Jaden Wayne, if he sticks, I mean, he's a defensive end.
He tackles.
Yeah.
And
everybody talks about. We had Jesse on, Michael, and Darren on one of the shows. They all said the same thing. Their job is a lot easier when you got Tez and Russell.
Yeah.
You know, and the Jimmy Joneses and these guys up there. It's a lot easier.
They can flow around and do a lot of things. Yep.
Yeah.
It makes your job a lot easier.
And that's why we have DBs making a lot of tackles, because the line is, and the linebackers are getting chipped or blocked. And, you know, a lot of these guys, they were 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4 all day today, North Carolina.
All right. Dutch Mafia and Bagging Up 4 are both talking about red zone problems. And, Stephen, I want you to comment on this. Red zone has been just a massive, and we apologize that that's not a victory cigar, by the way. But I mean, the red zone's been a mess. You can't call it anything else in every game except Bethune-Cookman. It cost them the game at A&M. It cost them today. We see this all the time in football. Teams move up and down the field. They get inside the red zone. The field gets squeezed because you don't have much room.
Exactly.
And the defense doesn't have to defend as much turf. And they struggle in the red zone. From what you're seeing, why is Miami struggling in the red zone?
They don't have the horses up front. And a lot of teams do, when they get to the red zone, they still doing that run pass option, which is kind of weird to me, because as a running back, I'm coming through the line, and I don't know if I'm going to get the ball. I don't know if the quarterback's going to pull it or he's going to give it to me. So what's my mentality is, I don't know. You know, me, I'm put the ball in my hand, I'm going straight forward, you know. And now they're getting the ball, they might get it and they might not. So now, I don't know how you figure that out, you know? I'm watching the Alabama game, and those guys, they have a fullback sometimes, and they have a running back, and sometimes they go back to the old school where they just have a fullback and a running back, and they just run it up there, and then they get it in. But I still see a lot of teams still doing the run pass option down there, which is, I don't know. You know, for me, I don't think my mentality is give me the ball. You know, I don't want to know if I'm going to get it 50-50. I need the ball, you know, come on. You know, this is, you got maybe 2 or 3 yards to get it in, and that's it.
And the weird thing about it is when you played, everybody in the stadium knew you were getting the ball.
Exactly, yeah.
It didn't matter.
I remember team used to call it out. Team used to call it out. Oh, they went in a zone play or counter play. Who cares? I don't care if you know, but you still can't stop us. Who cares? That was the mentality back then.
Miami ran for 171 at Texas A&M, and the last couple of weeks they've been stacking the box and saying we are not going to let you run the football. Today the coaches adjusted by just going to the passing game. The passing game had enormous success, but you have 500 yards passing, only 24 points. Because the passing game is great, but when you get in the red zone, if you don't have receivers that can make plays and separate in the red zone, it gets harder because the defense.
And you got to be creative down there, man. Come on,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I said. See, if they're
on that 4th and goal, you had one. On that 4th and goal, he had Will Mallory, and then that was it.
Yep.
Yes.
Right.
But they should run like a toss sweep. They don't have any sweeps. There's nothing.
They don't have nothing.
So the defensive line is just crashing, and they're stopping everybody.
Lack of creativity is hurting Miami in the red zone.
Oh yeah,
I think so. Yes.
Now, why would that be a problem for Josh Gaddis? Okay, he's been a coach for a while now. He was at Alabama. He was the offensive coordinator at Michigan last year, where they went to the college football playoff. Why would he be having a problem? And assuming he is, and I certainly wouldn't dispute it, because he is having some problems. Why would he be having a problem with lack of creativity, Stephen?
Oh, obviously there's something going on in practice. Obviously, whatever they're doing in practice is he trying to be creative, and obviously it's not working. And he's just saying, you know what, scrap it. Does this go to a couple of basic plays that we can hopefully get in?
Maybe
it's something. There's something going on,
Maybe it's Mario stubborn. Maybe Mario is stubborn because he wants to just have a physical offensive line.
That's true.
And we're going to get it in there whether you like it or not. And
that's true.
I'm not going to just hold him like up here. Hey, maybe he's telling this guy, I want power football.
Maybe. I mean, they spent 9 months training that offensive line to be physical and be able to run the ball behind them, and they were able to do it in College Station.
Yes,
but they were so beaten up coming out of that game, and they haven't been the same since.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
have not been the same since. Bagging up says that Miami should win the Coastal every single year, based on talent.
Based on talent, yeah.
Now, yes, you hope it will get to that point, but it is pretty darn obvious that we are not at that point.
Not yet. We have some ways to go to get to that point, man.
I mean, RQ says he was at the game. The bottom line is we don't have the personnel. That's a fundamental problem. But I do think they have enough personnel to win these games. But like we said at the beginning of the show, there's just no margin of error at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Way too much negative stuff going on in these games.
You can't turn the ball over. You got to get on in the red zone. You got to come over with points.
You got to come out on fire and not fall behind all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
This guy E. Taylor says, Bruce, he looks like he played football when they were writing the 10 Commandments. A very nice comment, but I'll be 69 in February, and I still play basketball, so I'll play you for $100 a point. Still playing with 30 and 40-year-olds. So what else do we have here? Franklin is too slow.
Wait a minute, Bruce. I'm going down sequentially here. You're jumping ahead on me. RQ says he's selling his season tickets. What does the Canes fan do? Like Stephen, you were a player, but Bruce, you've been a ticket holder and stuff through the years. What does the Canes fan do in this endless exercise of waiting for the program to turn the corner? Now, maybe it was unrealistic for it to happen today, this year. Mario Cristobal coming in year one, he inherited all these players. You don't want to just lay it on the players. The coaches are having, it's a first year staff as well. Mm-hmm. They're learning their personnel. They're learning how to work with each other. They're learning how to work with Mario. There's a lot going on there. You got an organization of all kinds of support staffers. So there's a lot going on at UM. Okay. What does the Canes fan do, Bruce? The ticket holder, as a guy that for many, many years has spent money on tickets to University of Miami football. The program needs those people to continue to support the program.
I have club seats, but I can't go because I have to do the show when the game is over. So I haven't used my tickets, but I have club seats. It's costing me, it's not cheap.
But what, you can't look at it like I'm wasting my money, because if People
You're a fan. You're a fan.
Program, now you're contributing to the problem.
But I think your point that you just made is very, very correct. You said something about all the adjustments and the changes and learning the personnel. Games in, and we found out that Kobe Young can play. 2 weeks ago, in the last 2 weeks, on this show, the other shows, CaneSport, get rid of TVD. He's not the guy. We want Jake. What's wrong with you, Gary? You're sticking up for this kid when you're getting paid by his family. That's true. That's what they said. They said that, Steve.
I know. It's crazy.
And look what happened today. He throws for 500 yards. So, they're not all right. They're not geniuses. We're all learning what's going on here. But it's frustrating. It's probably frustrating because of the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah, that too.
If they were coming off a 2-10 last year, then they wouldn't be so hard. Because Mario's here, I expected 10-2, 9-3. Well, that's not going to happen. But you know what?
And you know what else too? People don't realize when Mario came over, it's not like he brought his whole staff. It's not like he brought a staff over with him. He had to go get coaches from here, there, and piece them all together. When Coach Erickson came over, he brought his whole staff over from Washington State.
Yeah, but you heard what he said in the 30 for 30. He comes in and he has the keys to a Porsche. Don't screw it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. But
he took a lot of hits, Stephen. When he came in and said, I'm going one back, a lot of people are not happy with that because we were traditional.
Yeah, but then, what happened? Everybody else started doing the one pack, So, Mario's got his staff, he's figuring out where he got the offensive coordinator came from somewhere else. Defensive coordinator came from somewhere else. Linebacker coach, what's his name?
He's strong.
What's the guy that coached at South Florida?
Charlie Strong.
Yeah, Charlie Strong. He came from there, So, they all have different philosophies. So they all got to come in to Mario's philosophy, and I think it's going to take time. Hopefully, this year they're also learning, what's going on, and what play I want in there, this play I want in there. No, I don't want this guy in there on this down. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's
a lot. Let me talk to you guys.
That's why they gave Mario, a 10-year deal. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
it's
if Mario, I'm telling you, I still say if Mario can't get this done, nobody's going to get it done. There's nobody.
That too. Yeah, a 10-year deal.
He's got Alonzo. He brought Roland in. I mean, my God, the high school.
Roland's there, and he has a good rep with the high schools in South Florida, because he won multiple state championships down there. So he's going to start picking and choosing and, talking to coaches and start getting the right players that Miami needs. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you. Give them some time. Let them get everything adjusted and their players that they want to get. And with the next 2 or 3 years, that you're going to see a change,
Stephen, I got to ask you about this. All right, I'm watching, and this is particularly on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, it's an issue on offense too. Do they have the right receivers playing? But I'm watching so much rotation on defense, and it's like every single play, and like I see Messidor and Agude getting after the quarterback in the second half. And I'm thinking to myself, like, where have those guys been all day? Like, like, why are they not on the field the majority of the time? I mean, these guys are good football players. Like, can they only perform if they are totally rested? Steven, like, explain. I want you to explain because we, does the modern day football player, can they only go 25 reps a game? I mean, how many plays did you used to be on the field in a given game?
I remember one series we played against Iowa, and Coach Erickson gave me the ball all the way down the field, man, and I was exhausted.
Yeah, like Parrish carries twice. He comes off.
He's out. Yeah.
What's going on? Like, why in today's football do people think that athletes can't stay on the field?
I have no idea. And like you said, on the defensive line, I watched them today. The defensive line was going in and out.
Yep.
Come on, let them play.
They don't have that many good players right now.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to. I don't know.
how challenged the talent is, and we got to wait for the talent to get better. Well, yeah, but like to me, like if you have a couple good players at a position, I mean, I don't see it like I remember days when Dan Morgan would be running into the locker room at halftime to get IVs because he was so exhausted from taking so many reps. I mean, like, why today do we have to rotate so much?
We don't have any studs. That's why, right, Steve?
Yeah, pretty much. They still picking. They trying to find players right now. You know what I'm saying? So they put them here. All right, let's go. You know, next series you go in. All right, you out this series. Next series you go in.
But sometimes there's a drop off.
Yeah. Well, the drop off from what?
Well, here's an example. I remember a specific play. It was fourth. Yeah. North Carolina went for it. I think it was fourth down. It's third or fourth down. It might have been fourth down, like 4th and 2 or something. And I'm looking at defensive tackle, and not to criticize these players, but we had Jake Lichtenstein in there, and we had, I think, Moultrie in there, who are 2 backup defensive tackles. And I'm thinking to myself, like, and what happened was North Carolina didn't substitute on the play, so Miami couldn't substitute. And they got caught without their 2 best defensive tackles on the field on 4th and 2. And these are the type of things that are happening that I'm seeing constantly. And like, I don't feel like they always have their best talent on the field at some of the critical points of these games I'm watching. And I'm saying it the whole game, like, why aren't these guys on the field? I'm watching, like I said, Messidor, Agude were getting after the quarterback. I'm like, where were they the entire first half when the quarterback was throwing for 250 yards? And then the second half, you notice they started playing them more, and the defense was much more effective.
Exactly.
In the second half because of the pressure.
Harvey had a good second half too. He was in the backfield a lot.
Yeah, which goes contrary to what I'm saying, because he plays the same position as those other 2 guys. Right. But like, is it a situation like trying to keep everybody happy? I mean,
well, in this day and age, who knows? You know, these kids pretty much run. These kids pretty much run the program. You know, if I'm not happy, I'm a transfer. And the coaches want to try to make them happy. So, hey, you want to play, get in, get out. I don't know. You know, that's what I think. You know, this day and age, they try to make everybody, all right, you know what? We got to play this guy for this series, and we'll play this guy next series. Back then, look, you're going to get in when Russell Maryland needs a break for a couple of plays, you going in there for 2 or 3 plays, and that's it. And then you're going to get your ass out, and then Russell going to come, and that's it. You know, Cortez need a break. Let's go. You know, I don't know. You know, these guys, they ain't making no tackles. I mean, come on.
Right.
You know?
They're not doing anything. You know, they're trying to find their best players. They're still searching, I think.
I guess so. Yeah, you're right. You know, you're right. You know,
when Lichtenstein does have a push up the middle, not that he's making plays, but he is pushing, collapsing that pocket. But, you know, there's no Will Forks and there's, like
no
game to get Texas. Oh my God.
Yeah. You know, it's college football done changed, gentlemen. You know, fans out there, college football done changed. Look at Oklahoma. They got blown out today, 48-0.
49, I think it was.
49.
At home, no less.
Not at the Cotton Bowl.
Oh, they played. That's right. It was the Red River Shootout. Right, you're right.
Yeah, 49-0. So, you know,
E. Taylor says the team is practicing for next year. The season's over. What? How do you? I mean, but it's a dilemma. It's a dilemma. You're saying you're 2-3. You're 0-1 in the ACC, so you're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. But you're not out of the coastal race. Where do you draw the line, Stephen? Where do you say I'm still playing for this year, or now I'm gonna just play the younger guys and get ready for next year?
Right now, I can't see that right now. Let's see what happens in the next 2 games.
Next few weeks, yeah.
Next few weeks, and let's see. You know, I can't see them throwing in the towel and say, okay, you know what, the season over already. You know what, let's just work on getting our players that we want to see for next year. And
can they really improve, Cleveland? Can they really get better with the talent level that they have? Can they get, can they really?
at least see some improvement. I think, see some improvement in the defensive back, defensive line, and
offensive line.
Yeah, offensive line too. Yeah,
That's been a couple of weeks in a row now we can't run the ball.
And wideouts. I mean, come on. I mean, we didn't have a deep ball thrown today. Did we throw a deep ball? Well, we did.
Keyshawn couldn't catch up to it.
They don't have the guys that can get open like that. They just don't have the.
This is Miami, guys.
I know it's going to have to come in recruiting. They got a couple receivers committed, Steven, that can do it. Robbie Washington, Ray Joseph. They've got those two guys committed now. Those two guys that have speed, they'll be able to get open. But and they're going to keep recruiting more. You're right. It's Miami. You got to be able to recruit speed. All right, CW. He's coming at me personally, making it personal. He's tired of sunshine pumping. He says, I have been pounding the table for this for years. I have been. Okay. I said, you must bring Mario Cristobal in here. The level of recruiting must get elevated. Miami doesn't have elite players. They must start recruiting difference-making players. Mario can do that. Okay. I'm not backing down, CW. I understand you feel that here you are, the same BS or whatever. I don't know what you thought that Mario would be able to do year one, walking in the door. I mean, he pretty much inherited what he's got. I mean, they went out and hit the portal hard. It was not as effective as they probably intended. I think they were hoping that the portal would have had a greater impact than what it's had. I mean, these guys are contributing. I'm not sure I would call any of them changing the game. Even the ones that are good, like Messidor and these guys. Like, I'm not sure any of them, Steven. Like, I'm not sure you're getting talent in the portal that is changing the game. I think you're getting complementary talent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
So you got to give the regular recruiting time. Mario's recruiting his first class right now.
Mm-hmm.
The first one.
Yeah.
So CW, don't lose the faith, my man.
Ofaz, he's working at it. Believe you me, I know this guy.
Yeah.
We became this freshman together, and we battled on the scout team together. Let me tell you something. Mario, as a freshman, had to go against Bill Hawkins, Greg Mark, Willis McGeese, Russell Maryland, Cortez Kennedy, Jimmy Jones on the defensive line, going live on scout team as a freshman, battling, going goal line, short yardage. So just give him some time. I'm telling you, he's going to get it done. He got 10 years.
It better not take 10 years. I don't know that anybody out here or any of us could take 10 years. All right, Steven, Swerve. He says Miami recruited and got elite players out of high school on this roster. All of a sudden, they're bums at Miami. You get, you go recruit. Guys are rated different stars coming out of high school.
Yeah.
Some pan out, some don't pan out.
Yeah, Mark Pope.
Yep.
Yeah. We've had 5-star kids that never could play here.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that whole subject?
I'm not a big deal. I'm not a big thing on 5 stars because, me, I wasn't a 5-star. I was a no star. I got lucky. Coach Johnson, I'm serious.
I know.
I mean, Russell Maryland wasn't highly recruited. Mike Sullivan wasn't highly recruited. It's about finding the needle in the haystack. And that was the deal with Coach Johnson. He was able to find that needle in the haystack in players. Certain players, it's a crapshoot. You know that. You get a 5-star player. Look, we had Brian Forte come in. He was supposed to be the quarterback of everything. Alan Hall. He ain't do nothing. That's high school. Some people still try to live off that high school. And you know what? Some people, they do good in high school and then they come to college and they stop working. You got some people that don't do good in high school and they're able to get a scholarship and they continue to work hard and they get better and they end up successful. You're going to tell me how does a Cooper Kupp from LA Rams, who runs a 4.6 40, leads the league in NFL in all 3 categories: receiving, touchdown, and yardage. He runs a 4.6 40.
Yep.
You know,
He gets open.
He gets open. That's it.
And he uses his body well too. He knows how to use his body.
Yeah, that's football. You know, people don't. I think people that people get caught up with the 5 stars and 4 stars and all this other stuff. You got to look at the talent who they playing against in high school. First of all, if they playing against lackluster talent, of course they're going to be dominant. You know, I like Miami players because the talent down there is so much greater, I think, and I think better than New York. But and you know, those guys, they compete against other top quality players, you know, so they're gonna be better than they're gonna have more skills than a cat from New York, you know, because they play year round. Well, now I can't say that because now they got all these camps and everything else, these the camps that the kids go to, all-star games and everything else. But you know, these kids, when they get to campus, you still got to work, you know, and you got to work hard. Nothing's going to be given to you, you know. And I think at Miami, I think they think everything's going to be given to them, and you got to continue to work hard at it, man. You know, it's crazy. Like Lamar said, you know, you have receivers out there, you know, who drop some passes. Now you're going to tell me now you're going to go out there and catch and stay later for practice and catch passes. Yeah. You know,
should have already been doing that.
But you know what? Told to do that.
You know what? But who's teaching these guys from the past? You know, like Lamar said, you know, the guys from the past taught us, yo, what you doing? Let's go. You know, we're gonna come out early before practice and stay later after practice and get better. I don't know if they're doing that. You know, I don't know. You know, who knows what they're doing? I don't know. You know, Mario's gonna get it right eventually. You know.
Yeah, King Charenfont says they should have hired Lane Kiffin. What's Mario doing to earn his big contract? You know what I say to that baloney? Here's why.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin is an offensive coordinator. Okay. Lane Kiffin is not really a head coach. Lane Kiffin hasn't won a darn thing as head coach. Mario Cristobal's won conference championships. Lane Kiffin is an offensive coordinator, very good one. But you can hire a good offensive coordinator. Okay. It's not so easy to find a great CEO, a really good CEO. And Mario Cristobal is probably a better CEO than he even is a coach. He's a superb CEO, and he's a very good recruiter. And Miami needs elite players. You know, that's an area of the program that's lacking right now. And so no, they should not have hired Lane Kiffin. They hired the right guy, and everybody's just got to stay behind him. Stop looking at poke holes.
Give the man some time. People want instant success. It's not going to happen. Like you said, Lane Kiffin, what has he won? Ole Miss what? I think they won today. I think they blew some team out, you know, but, you know.
They did.
They did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but, you know, like you said, he hasn't won nothing, you know.
Right.
Get married.
He plays dying the poke holes in Mario. Like they
let that Mario get his players in. Look at the success he did at FIU. You know, just in a short period, he took him to a ball.
They went to 2 ball games or something like that, right?
Major Alston says that Mario should have flipped the entire roster through the portal. But Major, what you're seeing is the portal by itself doesn't really move the needle, man. It's like you know you got all these guys in the portal, but the coaches are still rolling out there the guys that were recruited by Manny, which means that they don't agree that the portal was the end all to be all.
Well, you can't say that, Gary, because if they would have gotten Addison, that would have helped, right?
They didn't.
But they could have.
And he was a one-off. Like there weren't a lot of great receivers in the portal. Now, I do think they probably wish they had been a little more aggressive than just Latson and Colby Young. But those guys were performing a little bit today. I mean,
what did Dabo Sweeney say about the portal? He said something negative about the portal. He said,
I don't think they use it.
Yeah, they don't like to use it at Clemson.
They don't use it.
But they recruit so well.
All you get is leftover players that really not going to really compete because that's why they transferring.
Yes.
So you got to be
before we get to some closing thoughts, guys, let's take one more moment here to hear from our friends at CaneSport.
Welcome to CaneSport. Family owned and operated since 2010, CaneSport has all latest merchandise for the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Inter Miami Soccer, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of I-595, or online at caneswear.com. CaneSport, the spot Miami fans shop.
All right, so we've been at this for an hour and a half, and apologies to those that wanted to call in. I'm not quite sure why all the sound systems weren't working properly tonight. We'll try to get to the bottom of it before CaneSport Live on Tuesday. But Stephen, before you go,
he's gone already. Look, he's headed over to Dunkin' Donuts from some donuts.
closing thoughts on your part about today and the big picture.
You know what? I was kind of happy with the game today because even though we lost, but the guys competed and they showed some fight in them. You know, I was disappointed in last week. I mean, 2 weeks ago we met at Tennessee State, but at least today they showed some fight and some grit and some heart. So you know, that's a step up from 2 weeks ago. So overall, I give them a C in effort, but we still took the loss. But you know what? You know, North Carolina was the better team, and hats off to them. And you know, hopefully Mario and the staff will get better, and the players. And let's see what happens next week. You know, this is a building. You know, this is work in progress. You know, it's not going to come overnight. You know, and let's see what happens. And hopefully Mario can get this thing on the right path next couple of years. Canes fans, hold fast. Mario's going to get this thing right. Please. It's tough. It's tough. I hope he was spending plenty of money.
Even don't you think that he's really finding out who's going to be back next year and who's off this team? All that. If nothing else, it's a learning experience for him and his staff. Who do we want and who we can't have anymore?
Exactly. You know.
Yeah. But I'm not sure you're pointing at the players today. You know, I mean, a couple plays, obviously the busts on the long passes were killers. But when you're failing in the red zone,
yeah, that's bad.
That's on the coaches.
Yeah,
you know, this is a shared blame.
So, you know, sometimes the fourth and, you know, the analytics, get that out the game. I mean, look, it's common sense. Punt the ball, change field positions. He just threw two picks back to back, and maybe, you know, you hold him down there and get a short field position back, and maybe you go in and kick a field goal to get a touchdown and see what happens.
Yeah, it's like we had a turnover.
Yeah,
just 2 picks, and we could have punted him and trapped him inside the 10.
Exactly.
And it's like we had a turnover. They got the ball at midfield. They're close to it.
Yeah.
You know? That's coaching too. It's not the player's fault.
Yeah, you know.
Those analytics, though, they're bad news. I agree.
Bad news.
Yeah. All right, Stephen. Hey, thank you so much for hanging with us this whole show. Your input absolutely invaluable and awesome. And we'll do it again.
All right,
Stephen, you're coming down for Florida State, right?
Maybe. I don't know yet.
He's got We'll see what happens the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take you to dinner like I always do, but that's okay. Stay up there and freeze your ass off. It's fine.
You might have to go to New York, Bruce. All right, Stephen. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right, Bruce, your closing thoughts.
Oh, I don't know. I could go all over the map. You know, I'm angry they lost. I'm angry with the start. I was ready to give up, but they hung tough. We had chances. We didn't get any breaks. That one pass that the kid threw where he was on his and he floated it, and the kid catches it, and he breaks 3 tackles for a touchdown. Oh, my God. You know, that's so fluky. But that's what's been happening to this team for years now. We get screwed out.
Make the play.
Yep, and then Blades.
Corey Flag and Smith, I believe.
Yeah, and Blades, that was a great try, but he was out of bounds, and he tipped it in. That would have been a hell of a play in our favor. It doesn't count.
You know, Mario points out he's not supposed to be out of bounds.
Right.
What was he doing out of bounds? I have to go back and watch it, but like
he got knocked out of bounds.
Little things, man. It's like little things that just keep adding up week after week, and it's you know, over what now, a 4-week period. and it's gotten away from them. And it's a shame because, they really did play very hard and at times pretty well in College Station, and injuries are piling up.
Yeah.
All these different issues are piling up, and it's who ever would have thought in a 2-game span they'd give up 60 passes? Like, you just don't see this stuff, and it's just a shame. It's a shame for the fans. It's a shame for the coaches. Shame for the players, because the season's slipping away fast, and it's good. Somehow, some way, they have opportunities here the next couple weeks to kind of get back into it a little bit and make some of those games later in the season meaningful, at least. But today was a big setback, man. Yeah, they had all the recruits there and everything, and the crowd was decent. They weren't booing people. The quarterback came back, had a 500-yard passing day. He was playing great. A lot of good things were going on, but then the bad, the negative, the use of timeouts, the red zone issues, the deep passes, like I mentioned, another missed field goal.
Failure to stop the run. Even that kid had some crucial runs where he had to run out of the pocket. He made some big chunk yards.
But he's going to make some plays. They're a good offense. There were a couple, like, he shouldn't be able to go 33 yards.
Right.
That he's a runner. That quarterback draw probably should not have worked as well as it did. But Kevin Steele could probably give you a 5-minute talk about why it did, based on what they were doing to try to stop the other elements of their offense. But the bottom line is that all these things added up. And I was talking about the field goal, the missed field goal. It's a 3-point game.
Yep.
You make that field goal, now you're going to try to win the game as opposed to tie it at the end. That Jalen Knighton fumble was obviously a critical play in the game, and they're getting themselves.
North Carolina didn't kick a field goal when they should have too.
I know. Break there when Mac Brown lost his mind a little bit too.
Yeah.
So listen, things are not going well right now. It's a fine line. Probably not quite as bad as everybody feels it is, just because of the sting of losing. It's probably not quite as bad, but certainly a lot of things need to be tightened up for it to get better and good. So,
but Mike had a great game, and he's your quarterback, and that has to stop now. He's the guy. That's the end of it. Yep. You're not going to get receivers. You're going to, but the offensive line's got to get better. I think the receivers can step up. They showed it the last 2 weeks. Latson had a good game before. This kid Young had a good game today. But there's things that might not ever get better. The linebackers won't have speed next week or the week after. They just don't.
Yeah.
So, the DBs
snap counts on that regard. I saw, Wesley Basaints was out there a little bit more today, I think.
Right. I saw him.
But it's hard to know what snap counts are until we get them tomorrow morning. So we'll have that on the website tomorrow. So lots of game coverage, CaneSport.com. We'll be back at you. I'll have the question and answer weekly thread up on the website soon for you guys that have further questions beyond what we covered on the show today. Want to thank Caneswear so much for sponsoring the postgame show this entire season. Be back. I think Dave Lamont will be back with us next week after the Virginia Tech game with another postgame show. So for Bruce, I'm Gary. Thank you for joining us today. Back to the message boards, everybody. And CaneSport Live also on Tuesday night. Have a great night.
Okay.